33 minutes after 6, this is still the AM show with me, Bernice Abu Bedu. For those of you asking about Roland, he's had to attend to an emergency, so he'll join us hopefully on Monday. It's fine. We'll do good today. I miss him though, but we'll be fine. At the front page of the Daily Graphic, energy sector gets big push as president cuts sword for world's biggest LPG-fired plant. We brought you the story earlier on the AM News. Also, PAC chides Ghana Health Service for flouting rules on auction of cars. There's another interesting one here on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. Declare position on Galamsey. Shigbe charges political parties. And you know that the fight against Galamsey is still on, and many civil society organizations have joined the fight. But this is coming from the managing director of Graphic Communications Group Limited, Mr. Kenneth Ashigbe. He has charged the leadership of the various political parties to make their positions on illegal mining known. He said such a declaration would pave the way for Ghanaians to ascertain the readiness of political parties to fight against illegal mining, which has become a major canker. Well, so there you have it. And we also know that Mr. Ashigbe is part of the coalition of media against Galamsey. So the fight is on, and as we put it, we will not rest until the fight against Galamsey yields the needed results. Okay, Bank of Ghana cautions banks to guard against cyber attacks, and this is on the 32nd page of the Daily Graphic, today's edition. The Bank of Ghana is advising the country's banks to guard against vulnerability to cyber attacks. The growing threat of cyber attacks has never been more pressing. Recent instances of payment fraud demonstrate the necessity for industry-wide collaboration to fight against threats. And that's according to the central bank's second deputy governor, Mr. Johnson Isiama. Okay, interesting. And on the back page, Cocoa Board to rehabilitate cocoa farms. The Ghana Cocoa Board is to undertake massive rehabilitation of cocoa farms in the country. In view of this, all cocoa trees over 30 years on about 50,000 hectares of cocoa farms would be destroyed and replanted at no cost to the farmer. In addition, owners of those farms will be compensated. Currently, 80% of cocoa farms affected by viruses are located in the eastern region and western and north of the country. So, well, this good initiative by Cocoa Board. Why we are hopeful of improving health in Africa comes along with the photo of Aliko Dangote and Bill Gates. Well, an Africa without polio is within reach. So there's a vision of getting life-saving vaccines to every child. These two men are coming together to support, make Africa a healthy place. Road accidents, a major public safety concern, and this is an article by ASP James Annan about how road traffic crashes affect the global economy, since most countries lose between 1% and 3% of their GDP to motor accidents every year. It's quite a bulky one today at the Daily Graphic. Let's see. All right, First Lady meets Queen Mother's others at start of Women's Empowerment Dialogue. First Lady Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo has stated that she will support women to improve their livelihood as part of her Women Empowerment Initiative and continue to advocate their well-being. Now, she hosted more than 50 Queen Mothers from the Greater Accra Queen Mothers Association and MPP Women Constituency Executives as her office, as part of a dialogue series on empowerment. All right, so that'll be it for the Daily Graphic. I just hope I didn't miss any of the big stories because it's a bulky one today. Okay, CPP opens biometric membership drive center. You can't avoid technology in these days, you know. And Greater Accra Regional Health Directorate organizes blood donation on May Day. About 2 days ago, my colleague Beatrice Edu spoke to one of the health directors in the Greater Accra region, and it will shock you to know that a lot of pregnant women who die as a result of lack of blood because there's a lot of hemorrhage and they're not able to get blood. So maybe on May Day, if you're not doing anything, you may just want to be part of this blood donation exercise by the Greater Accra Regional Health Directorate. Now, it is estimated that from 5 to 15% of pregnancies and childbirth go through some form of complication. However, according to health experts, the most important thing is to have access to professional care during pregnancy and childbirth so that complications that set in could be managed in time. Okay. And so the Regional Health Directorate is organizing a voluntary blood donation campaign dubbed the Regional Bleeding Day on Monday, May 1 at the Ridge Regional Hospital, the Maternity Pavilion, and in Tema at the Tema Metropolitan Assembly Forecourt. So, well, the Greater Accra Regional Health Directorate is appealing to all of us to voluntarily donate some blood to save mothers and children and many more other people who need it. But let's switch to the Daily Guide now. Front page, Doomsor tops my agenda, and that's according to President Akufo-Addo. And they took that quote from him while he was cutting sword for that LPG-powered thermal power plant. I beg your pardon, LPG-powered power plant. Mahama angry over free SHS foreign agents pop up. The NDC foreign agents with their collated document. And venture capital boss issues DART checks. Daniel Kofi-Duku comes along with his photo. The story is on page 2 and 3 of the Daily Guide newspaper. And it has emerged that a former chief executive officer of Venture Capital Trust Fund, Daniel Kofi-Duku, allegedly issued DART checks to the fund when he was asked to refund monies he purportedly unlawfully misappropriated. The CEO, who reportedly was on a monthly salary of $15,000, that's about 63,000 Ghana cedis, was said to have embarked on an unauthorized business trip outside the country and ended up blowing $26,000 belonging to the fund. The Board of Trustees then asked him to refund the amount, and an internal investigative report conducted into the fund indicated that $8,252 had been paid, with $18,000 still outstanding. Well, the BNI have taken over this case. More details in the Daily Guide. And Mahama angry over free SHS. Former President John Dramani Mahama is seething with anger over media reports suggesting that he's working behind the scenes to scuttle President Akufo-Addo's free senior high school education policy. Mr. Mahama wondered how he could sabotage the free SHS policy expected to begin in September when he is not in control of the finances of the state. So, President President Mahama unhappy there, but auctioneer bolts with government money comes from that park sitting where the Ministry of Health officials were being questioned. And JB killers face High Court today. We know that sometime last week, 1 year anniversary of the late JB at Dankwa Edu was held in the Eastern region. But an Accra High Court is expected to commence today the trial of 2 young men accused of murdering Joseph Boachi Dankwa Edu, the new patriotic MPP member of Parliament for Ibuakwa North in the Eastern region. Daniel Esiedu, 19, aka Sexy Don Don, and phone dealer, and Vincent Bosu, aka Junior Gogo, who is a phone repairer. A lot of people have asked that the process be expedited because it's been a year and we still haven't made any major progress in this particular case. Let's do some sports. Daily Guide, Kotoko coach defense tactics, and Kwesi TV shows Joshua Klitschko bout, and GNPC Cocoa Board support McDonald tennis. Moyes resists quit calls, and player loses £17,000 on betting. Wow. Burnley midfielder Joey Barton lost almost £17,000 due to his gambling problems, which has seen him banned from football for 18 months. The Football Association have reviewed the reasons why he's been given such a severe punishment and £30,000 in a 63-page document. Barton, 34, placed 42 bets in 20 matches with teams he was registered to play for at a time of betting. Wow, that's a lot of money. £17,000 and being fined £30,000. Anyway, away with the Daily Guide, on to the Ghanaian Times front page. Comes along with a photo of President Akufo-Addo and some others cutting sword for the construction of that LPG plant. And check your land title registration in the Spectator tomorrow. And FDA investigates Adonko bitters, 250 million Ghana cedi needed to reclaim Galamsey lands. That's according to the government. This is costing us a lot of money, but I think it's worth it. Page 16, FDA investigates Adonko bitters. I'm sure you may have seen that story of the Adonko bash that left a lot of people drunk. And, well, page 16. Oh, today I think the Ghanaian Times got it wrong, because on page 16 there's actually an advertisement there. Well, I'll try and find it. If I don't, we move on. But private investors keen to invest in domestic airlines, and Gama holds town hall meetings on projects. Still trying to find, okay, that story. Oh, okay, all right. Forgive me, Ghanaian Times. I actually was looking at the insert, page 16 insert, but there's another page 16 here. The Food and Drugs Authority is investigating the circumstance that led to hundreds of revelers passing out for many hours after drinking on Easter Monday. The investigation is to determine if the ingredients of the 42% alcohol containing bitters was adulterated or boosted by its producers, the Angel Group of companies, or it was just an abuse on the part of the revelers. Mrs. Isabella Mansagra, Acting Deputy Chief Executive, Food Inspectorate Division of FDA, told Ghanaian Times in an interview yesterday that the outcome of the investigation will determine the next line of action. Okay, so fingers crossed. Let's find out what the results will be, or what the findings of that investigation will be. Find a front page, $30 million cocaine vanishes at Tema Port. Wow, another incident of cocaine vanishing. Officers under whose watch this happened are still at post. Stories on page 2. And investigations by your authoritative finder have revealed that Ghana's image in the Committee of Nations has once again been heavily dented as the country failed another major test in the fight against drugs. The finder can report that 10 bags of suspected cocaine, each weighing 50 kilograms, hidden in consignment of rice with an estimated street value of about $30 million, has vanished from the Tema port under some mysterious circumstances. Surprisingly, officers under whose watch this happened are still at post at the Tema port. Really interesting story there. President cuts sword for world's largest LPG-fired power plant, and Ghanaian named as world's most influential architect. Some good news here. We've got good stuff in this country. I'm really proud. The Ghanaian named as the world's most influential architect. The story is on page 5. And that's a feature here on acquiring a driver's license in Ghana. So we'll be bringing you some other headlines, and cleanup exercise at Nungwa Beach. All right, Ghana's foremost waste management giant Zoomlion Ghana Limited marked this year's World Earth Day by engaging in a massive cleanup exercise at the Nungwa Beach. The exercise, which was spearheaded by Zoomlion with support from Guinness Ghana, Insurena, and other stakeholders, witnessed staff of these companies busy sweeping, picking plastic materials and evacuating heaps of refuse that had marred the beauty of the beach. So Ghana and Shona and other stakeholders witnessed staff of these companies doing this. Let's just hope that this yields some good results. I'm joined by editor Fred Smith in the studio. Got some help with the newspapers. Fred, what do you have?
Well, I have the Daily Guide newspaper, and it has a story of former President John Mahama. And this banner headline says, Mahama angry over the free SHS foreign agents are popping up. Let me give you a bit of that story.
Well, I've done that already.
You've done that?
Right,
okay.
all right. So let's just do the Daily Dispatch and the BNFT. President Mahama is unhappy about some report, you know, in the newspapers that suggested that he was undermining or trying to scuttle the free SHS program.
In what way?
Well, that is what he's challenging there. That he said he's not managing the finances of this country. So, in what way can he even attempt to do that? So, well, that's it. President Mahama speaking on that, saying he's unhappy about those media reports. But we left with the Daily Dispatch and the BNFT to do.
So the Daily Dispatch, NPP's Nasara boss on MMDC's chaos blame. Executives, well, he's saying that we should blame executives of the party. And it comes with Kamal Dean, a photograph of Kamal Dean. The story here on page 2, it says, executives of the New Patriotic Party should bear some of the blame for the excesses that have arisen after the announcement of the list of district chief executives because they failed to manage the expectations of the supporters of the party after the 2016 polls. Kamal Dean Abdullahi, National Nasara Coordinator of the NPP, has said, and he explained that there was a need for all members of the party to know that not everybody in the party will be appointed a minister, deputy minister, district chief executive, or other designation. Hence, to the extent that there have been some agitations following the release of the list of the MMDCs, those executives of the party have to shoulder some of the blame. And indeed, you have to take some of the blame. They are responsible for, you know, bringing their grassroots supporters together. And that's why they've been appointed on the ground. And so they have to be able to put the party supporters together. And it's a very difficult thing to manage party supporters. And so if you're managing from Accra, it will be difficult to get the people in, say, Doma Hinkro to be united behind somebody appointed by the president. But this is the point.
The fact is that the supporters on the ground have splitted into groups. So the two of us may be potential MMDCs, and your supporters may not agree with my nomination, and so it'll be very difficult for me to speak to your supporters unless you do it.
Anytime you see such agitations, it's not the supporters who are agitating, it's somebody asking them to agitate. Well,
that would be very difficult. Yeah, we know there are certain instances like that, but sometimes people just, you know, love the people they support. They could easily mobilize themselves and say, you know what, for the love of Fred. I mean, you don't even need to tell them.
Well, there's never been any evidence that those agitating did not have people behind them.
And there's never been any evidence to what you're saying. But I understand what you mean. But let's get on to the Africa page of BBC. Odinga to challenge Kenyatta in Kenya vote. Okay, this will be the 4th time that veteran politician Raila Odinga runs for president.
And yesterday they announced him as the presidential candidate for that party.
Yeah, so fingers crossed, will he be able to oust Kenyatta? Well, let's see. Why King of Kings snapped shock Nigerian, and Africa highlights baby home after parasitic twin removal. Mandela relatives blast an ANC relative blasts ANC, and Gabon's Bro Apanga collapses and dies. Africa's first top flight baseball player.
But this story from Nigeria is trending on Twitter. You know what it was? One of the kings, you know, a big guy, he came to a function, and there was another one who was exchanging pleasantries with him. He declined and moved on to another one, and so that sparked a whole lot of controversy in the area that there's some feud between them. And I'm telling you, the story is not ending.
Why is this trending? I mean, if you say hello to a king, and well, within their context, I can understand, because you see, Nigerians really are very cultural people.
Strong cultural background in Nigeria.
Well, interesting. So, well, that'll be it for the newspaper review here on the AM show. Fred Smith, thank you so much for doing this with me. It's good you came in. We'll bring you sports shortly. Please stay with us.